Hi and welcome to the astrological forecast for this week in general, the stuff that's happening all around the world. And what I will do to start with is share the chart with you so that we can talk about it. Well, I'll do the talking. You can mutter to yourself while you're listening. Right, okay, there we are. I suppose I should be focusing on the coming full moon. We've got the sun at 19 degrees of Gemini and we've got the moon at 10 degrees of Sagittarius. But I'm not because it's a full moon. It's not a huge impact moon unless you are a Gemini or a Sagittarius or a Pisces or a Virgo, because it happens on the mutable cross, and those are the mutable cross zodiac signs. Yes, it's Donald Trump's birthday coming up, and the full moon hits his sun and moon. He was born on the full moon, the same full moon. We get one of these a year. Okay, that event, this full moon, is separate to events elsewhere in the chart. So we've got two scenarios going on. We have, and I have to say it, Gemini Sagittarius is not a heavyweight opposition. It's not a big heavyweight influence. It tends to be something that gives us joy, communication, travel, opportunities. We learn, we discover new boundaries, sorry, discover new horizons. Yeah, we may discover new boundaries in discovering the horizons, yes. But it's altogether, it just means generally more chatter, much more movement. Okay. And I'm sure Donald Trump's going to enjoy himself. I understand he's organised a parade. So anyway, I'm so sorry if I'm undermining that, but I was looking at something else and I haven't looked into the parade. Anyway, right, I'm only looking over here because Georgie was fast asleep, my dog, one of my dogs, and he's just jumped up as if he'd seen a ghost. And I'm going, what's he looking at? I think it must be the cat who probably did something while he was storing his head off. Anyway, right, we're going to go back to now what I am interested in, really, what's going on. And that is, we still have Saturn and Neptune in the very early degrees of Aries over here. What's happened is Jupiter has now moved zodiac sign and is at 0 degrees of Cancer, the next sign up. It has been in Gemini. Mercury is right there. And so we've got a Mercury, Jupiter square to Saturn and Neptune. That's interesting. That is in play. And this is to be taken into account, I think, when we're looking at what's happening in the USA and Gaza and the Ukraine. So, the first thing to note is this is all happening at the early part of the cardinal signs. So, the cardinal signs are Libra and Aries, Cancer, and Capricorn. Now, cardinal signs have for very many years been hit with one thing after another, a lot of movement in the cardinal signs. And what this basically is saying is that there is leadership of sorts going on. We are being led. There is motivation and forward movement. Cardinality is masculine or yang in its movement. Okay, we know that. We're going at a very fast pace as well. In fact, since the change of the millennia, we have been going bang, 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 bang. Anyway, that's good. We've got an astrology that describes it. So, in coming to the place we're at now, where issues are in California with regard to federalism, I suppose, and the sovereignty of the state or the nation, etc., etc. I think we could say we're looking at boundaries. Well, straight away, boundaries. That is a main issue between Saturn and Jupiter. So Jupiter is a planet which can be used to describe how we cope with expansion. It is something that removes boundaries and gives us distant horizons. Saturn is a boundaried planet. You just have to look at the rings around it. And Saturn is all about boundaries and Earth limitations. So Saturn describes how we cope with boundaries and restriction and no-go and what you can't do, loss. So because these two are in a square to each other, which has more hits than just this one, but this is the hit when the signs have changed. We are looking at restrictions to the military or something of that nature, because Aries is all about warfare and fighting, and it's also about initiation, and it's also about leadership, and it's also about exciting, exhilarating rushes of energy. But let's just go with the warfare thing at the moment, and then go over here to Jupiter and Cancer. So Cancer is all about protection, nurturing, the mothered and mothering, and the protection and nurturing that symbolically a mother provides. So it's our first zodiac sign in water. The boundaries between Gemini and Cancer are always raised. The difference between Gemini and Cancer is always raised when a major planet moves over that boundary, over that cusp, goes from one area into the other area. So that by itself would be raising an issue of protection, of neediness, a need for security. Cancer loves its security. So we've got an expansion of that whilst we have a restriction of this. So a restriction, something is being held back, and an expansion of emotions, needs for security, and nurturing image. Okay. This is now confused because we then put Neptune in there, and Neptune was already working on Saturn's boundaries, already blurring the nature of things, making things confusing by putting them into fog, lowering veils over stuff so there is no clear sight. Mercury in Cancer. Both Elon Musk and Donald Trump have Mercury in Cancer in their birth charts. I looked at that in the last video. So what we can tell just by looking at two individuals who express themselves through a Mercury in Cancer is that their grasp on words isn't exact. That they can use words which they forget later and say, did I say that? Or they can not express themselves in precisely the right words. Articulation and that exact nature of air, which Mercury loves to be in, is missing. And so we get this very sort of watery, fluid, and emotional overlay to the ability to communicate. So it's not precise, it's not accurate. It's as if we've put the ability to communicate in an aqualung and put it at the bottom of the ocean, where we expect it to be able to talk to us. Well, of course, all you'll get out of it, the words go into bubbles, don't they? And the bubbles just disappear in the water. Try to think of it like that. So when Musk or Trump talks, the words are coming in bubbles and they're just dissipating, and they're not really connected to what they want to say. Okay, Gemini, on the other hand, is a sign that very much appreciates words, likes the use of words. And so therefore, we've got Jupiter, how we cope with expansion, going from a place where it was likely to be able to express itself into a place where it can express itself, but only through emotion, nurturing, sorrow, self-pity, that kind of thing. So it will only blur what we'd already got as blurred by Neptune. So we're just increasing our inability to see things clearly. We are in muddy waters and it is high tide, and the water is just slopping around with no particular direction, and there is little clarity. Let's just get that one clear. Okay, we're looking at immigrants and immigration and legal immigration, illegal immigration in a big way all over the world at the moment. It's most obvious in the States, um, which confuses me because I've always thought to myself, well, surely just a couple of 100 years ago they were all immigrants. But anyway, who am I to understand these things? But um, I digress. Go back to the astrology, Alison. You're safer. Okay, right. Now, the outer planets are actually in a place where they are discussing immigration and will be for many years. Well, three of the outer planets. So you've got Makemake here, and we've got Silesia there, and we've got Quoa, an American deity from the West Coast, Los Angeles, the basin in Los Angeles. His native tribe was there, and it is Los Angeles that I understand has the issues at the moment with regard to immigration. This is not going away, and we can tell that because these two planets are coming up to oppose Quoa, but they're not there yet. And when each of these gets there, they will open up the issues of the last couple of days. Mercury is going to get there very quickly. So we're looking at less than a week. So 4 days, let's see. Jupiter more slowly. It's a slower moving planet, but nevertheless, it already is in opposition. It's within 10 degrees to Quawa. So this is a chart which is showing us the openings, and so talking about the USA, and so talking about California and immigration, funnily enough, because Quawa was a native Indian god and very much associated with the displacement of Native Americans. So therefore, this should be quite an interesting aspect as it unfolds, because America then raises shadow stuff to do with the Native Americans and how they are viewed now, how immigrants are viewed now, who are the immigrants, and where's the dark shadow in all of this? Who am I to say? I just live in England. But as the planets get into this setup here, so we've got Ceres, no small player at the moment, one of the root core feminine planets representing feminine and yin at the moment, but as in a primordial way, a very strong primordial way. So Ceres is coming up on this and will be there in a week or two. And we'll definitely be adding something new to the picture, which livens up this T-square that we've got here already, which, as I say, is there for ages. But it's there to be reactive when another planet comes up. And sorry, I'll stop sharing because looking at me in this little tiny corner, and all I'm doing is waving the cursor around. Yeah, so the T-square between these three planets, so Silesia and Makemake and Quawa, is going to be activated as these planets move into the formation and in and through, yet again, the cardinal signs. Jupiter moving into the cardinal signs is actually bringing up again a lot of the issues that we've been looking at since 2012, sort of thing, around there. All very good times. I like the fact that the cardinal is activated because I always feel when we've got cardinal going, we're doing something. It's leading, it's going somewhere. Like it or hate it, it doesn't matter. The change is happening. There's one thing cardinal does is just shout, "This way, men," and everybody has to follow. So yeah, so I'm in full approval really of this. Um, just a quickie, those taking exams, it is an exam time of the year actually in the UK anyway for people taking higher exams. We have had Mars opposing the symbolism for academic intelligence and excellence, which is Athena. Athena is in I've just lost my Aquarius. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes I forget. Athena is in Aquarius, and so if you know somebody taking science exams at the moment, they are going to do very well. Just that's all I wanted to say. Right. I think that's everything. Right. I'm going to come back now and see you. Hello. And it was lovely to see you again, my friend. I really enjoy our chats and thank you for listening. You're brilliant. Thank you. And I'm now going to shut up and go, and I'll see you later in the week. Okay, thank you. Bye.